Hi, so for Excel module number 2, this is the solution for the first homework problem. So in the first homework problem, you were given a formula that solves for the horizontal range of firing a projectile from a cannon, piece of artillery, whatever it happens to be, right? So if this cannon or artillery is sitting flat at the ground, and we change the angle of the barrel, and we change it in this case from 10 to 90 degrees, right? 90 degrees being straight up. We figure out how far the thing can go for different initial velocities. So the way I did this particular problem is I used the fill the series to create my series that we were asked for the angles and degrees. So I clicked on the first, I put 10 in the first one, clicked on that space. I clicked on fill series. I picked columns, linear, because we want a linear progression here. I picked a set value of 5, and I picked a final value of 90. And when I hit OK, this is what was generated. So I'm not going to do that again, but you can see that's the output that was generated. The formula, I solved the formula for over here, so you can see this up in the bar. Instead of using the v squared, I used v times v. I don't know why I did that, which you could have substituted a v squared in there for those two. Now, you'll notice that for the initial velocity, I used a tag, and for the gravitational constant, I also used a tag. So if you go over here to where my initial velocity is, you'll see that I have the word velocity. And you'll see that if I go to the gravitational constant, which is 9.8 meters per square second, you'll see that that has the word gravity associated with it. So there's my calculations. I created the calculation in the first one, copied it down. Right, I brought that over to my graph, or I created a graph from that set of data, putting on the x-axis the angles and putting on the y-axis the distance for flight time. It's always going to be based upon physics. 45 degrees is going to give you the maximum distance. And you can see here the last part of that problem asked you to use the max function, right? So I'm looking at that column of numbers over here for distance, and it's pulling the maximum value out, which in this case is 3,121.81, and you'll notice that that value is 45 degrees, right? The second part of question number 1 was to repeat the process for a different initial velocity. So what I did was I actually went down to the bottom here and I right-clicked on my sheet. And one of the things that you can have is a move or copy. If you click on that, I can move it to wherever I want, but I also have a checkbox where I can create a copy. I did that, and I created this copy right here. This copy is exactly the same, although if you got a sharp eye, you'll notice that I changed the titles on my graph. I'm not quite sure which one I like better, but hey, you got two different choices there. And the only difference is I copied that page over and I changed my velocity to 285, right? You can see if I change this to, 500 meters per second, all my calculations and my graph all update in real time. And we'll just put that back to 285. So there you go. There is problem number 1 from Excel module number 2.